Hello friends, this is Music Man from his man cave, and today we're going to talk about cars, vehicles, automobiles, because we just love our cars, don't we? We just like our cars, and we feel like we need a car, and it's true. Sometimes we do. Most of the times we do. A lot of the times we don't. And those are the deals that we run into. Do we really need a car? Do we not? And so we're going to talk about that right now in just a few moments, and talk about how should you buy a car? How should you deal with this car thing? Coming right at you right now.
Yeah, check out my little love machine, baby. Yeah.
Ooh. Cars. Well, I could tell you anything you want to know about cars. It has been my big pitfall. I have made every mistake with a car that you can possibly imagine. From buying a car that was a piece of junk to going to a dealership to well, I didn't lease a car. I never did that, because even to me that seemed pretty ridiculous to buy a car and in 3 years you don't have it. And I didn't like the idea of someone coming and inspecting the car and saying, "Oh, the mat is dirty. That'll be an additional $500. I didn't like that stuff, so leasing was new. No, because I didn't know in my luck a kid would be there with a milkshake. Oops, Dad, look what I did! Milkshake on the seat! And so, cars, ugh. Well, let me tell you what I've learned, and it's pretty simple about cars. Number one is buy used. There are too many good used cars out there to buy new. A new car, as soon as you drive it off the lot, if you pay $25,000 for it and you drive it off the lot, if you came right back, as soon as that, I think it's 14 days, you can bring it back and say, "I made a mistake." But after that, you bring it back and they'll say, "Yeah, we'll take it back from you for $17,000. You go, $17,000? I bought it from you 15 days ago for $25,000. But that's how much it's worth now, because it's used. Because you drove it off the lot. So, stay away from dealerships. Don't buy new. The people that buy new take a huge depreciation immediately. So people like I can go out, and you that are looking at this, obviously the only reason you'd be watching me is if you've made some money mistakes, or you don't want to make some money mistakes. Some people like their stupidity. They revel in their stupidity. They just, dumb, I'm dumb, and I'm going to spend money, and I don't care about retirement, and I don't care about, if I'm getting ripped off by anybody. I just want what I want, and I want what I want. And so you wouldn't be watching this if you didn't want to know the truth about cars. Number one, you should buy a good used car. And there's some dandies out there. Usually I'd stay with, probably number one would be Honda. Number two would be Toyota. Number three, I wouldn't say Subaru. They have a head gasket problem. I'd probably say Nissan. Mazda would be a tie-in there after those two. I like Toyotas because they're easy to work on, they're easy to change the oil on, things like that. Those are the easiest for me. Honda is actually rated a little bit higher than Toyota, but I just have had really good success with Toyotas. So buy used, good used. The second thing, pay cash. If you can't pay cash for it, don't do it. Never take out a loan on a car. It's just a bad deal. And we can go into it in more detail. Any questions you want to ask me about this, go ahead. Ask. And I can tell you. I've done it. It sounds real nice, $299 a month for 6 years. You can do that. But then all of a sudden, one day, the car breaks down and you've paid $1,000 in repairs plus that $299, $1,299. Oh, but Hondas never break down. Malarkey. Toyotas are in bulletproof. You can weld the hood shut and drive them forever. Nonsense. that you still have to change the oil, you still have to maintain them, you still have to change the timing belts, you still have to do all the things that you would do even on any car. There's actually people that believe now with this new oil that you never need to change the oil. You can drive the car for 3 years without changing the oil because it said, 15,000 miles on the Mobil 1 container. I can't believe Mobil 1 hasn't gotten some lawsuits. Even synthetic oil cannot last 3 years. I'm sorry. And so some old people are really buying into that. So you can ask me any questions. So number one was buy used, quality used. Number two, pay cash. And number three, only take out liability insurance. Because especially if you buy a used car, there's a place where it tips. And the value of the car is worth less than you would pay in comprehensive insurance. And you can actually do a study on this. It's really cool. What you're paying into the insurance would be better just to put away in savings. And if you do get into a wreck, you're going to get more from the savings account than if you're in the wrong than you would get from your insurance company. They're going to total out the car and give you the value of the car, and you'll be shocked. My rule is a car depreciates. My experience has been a car depreciates about 40 to 50% every 5 years, according to the make. 40% for a Toyota, Honda, 50, 60, 70% for a Chevy, Jeep, Chrysler. So that's why I say about 40 to 50%. Some cars depreciate more rapidly. Some cars don't depreciate as quickly. And so it's just a fact. So you need to say about 40-50% it's going to depreciate. So if you buy a car for $2,500 in 5 years, it'll be worth $12,500. And then 12,500 in half, and it's going to be worth $6,000 the next 5 years, and then it really depreciates quickly as it gets into the 15-20 year range. It just plummets down there. So anyway, you need to be aware that cars depreciate quickly, and so you want to buy them where you get optimum, where you don't get the depreciation. So buy used, pay cash, and when you do go out to buy a car, buy it from a private owner with receipts for every oil change, for every belt change, for everything. If they don't have that, forget it. Walk away. And we can talk about that. I can talk to you about some nutball people I've walked up to, and these nutballs believe that their Pinto is vintage, and that even though the door is sagging and it's got mismatched wheels, they think it's worth $5,000 because it's a collector's item. It's a collectible piece of junk. So I'm just saying that there's those people out there, and so you need to make sure that. And that's funny because I don't know who would want a Pinto anyway, except for sentimental reasons, and we'll talk about that. Cars are a pain. So you want to get that liability and take it as high a deductible as you can, pay as low insurance as you can. And then if something happens where your car gets totaled and somebody dings it, hits it with a door or at Costco or whatever, you're not sitting there going, "Oh, my car!" When you look at those rock chips on the hood, you're not freaking out. It's stress-free. And you also need to know what a sweet deal when it comes along. I bought my last Toyota Camry, and I ran into a lady who it was leaking out of the valve cover gasket, just spraying oil all over the manifold and spraying oil all over underneath the motor. So she thought the car was shot. So she sold it to me for $700. And we'll talk about that. Do you take advantage of people that are stupid and they sell things for very cheap when it's an easy fix? I told her it was the valve. She didn't care. The valve cover gasket, she didn't care. She wanted to unload the car. She wanted money in her hand. So I was honest with her, and I got the car for $700 to fix the valve cover gasket, and I've had the car now for 3 years, and I haven't had any problems with it. It runs like a top. It's a really, really good car. So, cars, automobiles, vehicles. You can ask me any questions you want below, and I will tell you. Leasing, bad. Don't lease a car. Dealerships, stay off the lot. We can talk about that. You want me to tell you why? Never go to a car dealership ever, ever, ever. Brought by private. Why do you demand receipts? Why do you want to see everything that's been done to the car? Why do you want a history of the repairs of the car? I keep those in case anybody I ever decided to sell a car, which I basically never do. But anyway, so I'm open for questions anytime. Number one, buy used, good used, quality. Number two, pay cash. Number three, buy from a private owner. And watch out for scams. There's a lot of con artists out there. Anyway, Music Man saying,
See you later. Zoom, zoom.